So, this week, Rugby World magazine is publishing its list of the 50 most influential people in rugby in 2020. The head list at the top is Sia Khaleesi. At the bottom of their top 50 happens to be me. I've somehow squeezed my way on. Probably because Razzie Erasmus thinks I understand the game and I'm very, very funny, but that's neither here nor there. What we want to know is your most influential people in rugby in 2020. Who do you think are the biggest names, the people that impact the sport the most? Let us know and we'll read them out next week. So this round we saw 4 full games of Super Rugby. We saw 2 games in Aotearoa and the first 2 games in Australia. We got to see amongst them the very first 50-22 in rugby history, the first goal line dropout, and some really entertaining games with some very fine tries. We also saw in Super Rugby Aotearoa from Geordie Barrett began taking his run up just a few inches over there and the ball somehow landed in New Zealand. I think I'm recording this on the Monday and by the time you're watching it on the Tuesday the ball will still be in flight. It will still be, it's currently passing somewhere over Antarctica. Like NASA have started a website tracking Geordie Barrett's kicks movement all around the globe, seeing as it lands finally somewhere on Thursday they're expecting it. Speaking of Barrett, Beauden Barrett, the young up-and-coming Blues fullback who I'd never heard of before Super Rugby Aotearoa, but he's been really solid in this competition. I don't know why they didn't play him there last year. He has signed to go and play some rugby in Japan. He has reportedly signed on a deal that is paying him money and is going to take a sabbatical during Super Rugby next season before returning to the All Black camp just in time for them to play some more rugby. However, he isn't the only one headed to Japan because Greg Laidlaw has decided to cash in on his popularity with the ladies of Japan, where he was, of course, named the sexiest man in rugby a few years ago. Greg Laidlaw headed to Japan and he's going to have a great time, I'm sure. The people out there loved him during the World Cup and they're going to have a fantastic time when he arrives on a more permanent basis next year. This week's other big transfer news came in a will they, won't they, what's going on situation surrounding the Leicester Tigers. As Manu Tuolangi's leaving, then he isn't, then he is, then he isn't. Alice Genge is signing, then he isn't, then he is, then he's tweeting a picture of a croissant, then he's signing. It's been a real on-off situation as the club finds itself at the bottom of some deep water. And I don't know if Tigers can swim, but they're certainly trying to find out right now. However, to return to rugby that has been played, with this being the first weekend of Super Rugby Australia, I thought it was the perfect time to catch up with the one and only Sean Maloney. Sean Maloney, how are we? How are we doing today?
I am all the better for having heard your sweet Welsh voice right now. It's been too long.
What was your takeaway from that game between the Reds and the Waratahs? What did you take from it as a first hit out?
One of the things that I think we're all really excited about is this wave of really talented youngsters that are coming through. They came through the Aussie 20s setup, now find themselves in Super Rugby, and there are kids in this setup, Squidge, who can really ball. Well, Harry Wilson, the Queensland number 8, goes real nice. Maddox, the New South Wales fullback, is quality. And then you sprinkle in, you just throw a little dash of the experience of James O'Connor in the mix there with Queensland. And all of a sudden, there's something to be a little bit optimistic about in terms of Aussie rugby.
I thought Tate McDermott was fantastic. That kind of coming out of nowhere this season, I say with the under-20s last year, we did really well with. But I thought he was quietly quite good at the start of Super Rugby, and then I thought he was fantastic on Friday.
Yeah, Tate the Snake, we call him down here. That's his new moniker in Australia.
The other game then, to pick up on, the Brumbies looked generally very impressive, but it did turn out being more of a game than I think I expected from the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, it was a crazy game, wasn't it? I was watching your tweets roll out alongside it. Man, you must be punching some long hours with these kickoffs, especially the early ones in the afternoon in NZ. You are burning it at both ends. And I saw that you were across Brumbies Rebels, and it was the Brumbies so good early on. They bounced out to that 24-6 lead, and then the Rebels, rightly, given the cattle they've got, found a way back into the game, and then the Brumbies kicked clear again. But we're thinking again on that youngster front, a couple more really good ones in the nation's capital, Squidge. I'm talking about Noah Lolosio, who was the man of the match there, and this kid can really go. He was awesome. Tommy Wright was good as well. A couple of changes there. Mac Hansen at his starting debut at fullback. It's this four pack though that are so well drilled. Squidge, I know that you would know a lot about the Lord, Laurie Fisher. Looks like a wizard and is one when it comes to forward play and breakdown play. He's got his big men going beautifully, and the Brumbies are rightfully favourites to take out Super Rugby and Super Rugby Aussie.
Is that how you see it going? Do you see it being a Brumbies title most likely?
I think it'll be Brumbies Queensland. I think that's the way it's shaping up. They're building really nicely, this Queensland side. The Rebels will ask questions. The Force will be good. I'm looking forward to seeing the Western Force sink their teeth back in. It's been 3 years since I've been over in Perth commentating their game. It'll be nice to see them having a crack, and then the Tars will round out that five. But we've got finals down here in Super Rugby AU, Squidge. So, you know, it's going to be kind of open. It'll be 5 down to 3 and then 2 and then just the 1. I think it will be the Brumbies though.
So last week I asked you to name the ugliest kits you'd ever seen in rugby, you'd ever seen a team run out in, and we had quite a few suggestions. Louis suggests Perpignan's combo of blue shirts and even yellow and red socks and shorts. Perpignan was always quite good for a kind of bold shirt choice, should we say. There was a few absolute shockers there. Philip Glover says also the away jersey from 2014-15. He said they wore it once against Leicester. Let's just say that purple should never be used as a jersey colour in rugby. And then he also mentions England's Orange 7 jersey from 2012. But we are missing out the England away shirt from around 2010 that was purple and looked a bit like just Johnny Wilkinson's pyjamas. Fergus701 says the Ospreys, which is normally a safe thing to say when talking about the words worst and rugby in the same sentence over the last couple of years. Matty Boy says the Blue Bulls pink kit was garbage. I don't know what it is with teams with the name blue in their name decided to play in pink. The Cardiff Blues did it a lot as well. Apparently that's a thing now, you know, apparently blue and pink are the same colour. Tom Murphy brings up perhaps the key answer in Stade Francais. He mentions the one with the Starbucks logo in the centre. There's plenty, including all of the ones with the Andy Warhol look. There's so many mad things Stade did that still don't make sense to me. However, it does bring me back to this point by QWERTY, who says, whatever sport, it seems the worst kits they talk about are the vintage or flamboyant ones. I disagree completely. Nothing worse than an unimaginative one colour. And I think my mind has been very much changed. I think actually, looking at it, all rugby kits are beautiful, especially the ugly ones. Now with those horrible things burnt onto your retinas forever, why not subscribe to the World Rugby YouTube channel, where we will guarantee that we will never show most of those shirts again. Because something we will show again is the next episode of the feed, which will be coming next week. I'll see you then.